and new business cases. That's the challenge.
And new mindsets as well.
And new mindsets.
Now, we've got 4 minutes to run. Let me give you a question which I think brings together a lot of what you've been talking about how you incentivize. This comes from Katie Batten, who's Director of Interconnected. Do you think that regulations and targets will be the key driver for the necessary change in the necessary period of time? Or is it possible that a greater moral human motivation from leaders to take their organizations beyond the targets is on its way, knowing the rewards will come, even if there's a political price?
Katie, it's a fantastic question. So, I'm not dodging it by saying both. But in the following respect, which is first, what we've been talking about is a series of examples of regulations, forward-dated regulations that then pull forward action today, change the economics, get investment at scale. But one of the questions that companies have to ask themselves, and financial institutions that lend or invest in those companies have to ask themselves is, well, what's necessary? What is the regulation or the consumer behavior that's necessary ultimately for us to get to net zero? And if I think there's the commitment to be there, well, then how do I adjust today before the regulation comes into place? And that's why we put a lot of emphasis on net zero plans. That's why we put a lot of emphasis on forward-looking, on scenario analysis and the pathways. And the question for every board and every senior management team is, well, what does your strategy look like? What does your business look like if we collectively, for moral and intergenerational fairness and other reasons, if we do what we need to do in order to get to 1.5 degrees? That's a basic question for every company.
I'm a strong believer in hope and passion, but hope and passion without an action plan normally doesn't materialize into an outcome.
It's not much of a policy, is it, hope and passion?
So
he could write a chapter in his book about hope and passion. So it's written about humility.
Yeah. So I'm a strong believer in turning hope, passion into an action plan, and you need an action plan at a granular level. And that's why I do think you need both the belief and the passion in doing something for the future, but then you've got to put in place tangible actions, and that's both government and private sector.
I hate to put this in right at the end, but it broadens the question even further, taking it beyond just carbon to biodiversity and sustainability and nature.